summer of 2017, my parents took me on a trip to Australia. It was a vacation we'd all been looking forward to for a while. For me, it was the cool accents and kangaroos. For my parents, it was the beautiful sights and destinations. Looking back at these photos, our trip seemed to be taken straight from a travel brochure. But looks can be deceiving, especially those of Sydney, Australia. Let me provide a bit of context. We were staying with an old friend of my mother's who she'd only recently regained contact with. She was kind enough to offer a room in her house for us to stay in. However, little did we know that her house had no heating. Sitting in the southern hemisphere, our summer was Australia's winter. And Australia is home to rather odd winters. Their mornings are positively glacial, afternoons relatively warm, and nights frigid and windy. Under the midday sun, one can wear a t-shirt and be perfectly comfortable, but a step under the shadow of a tree can mean whiplash from the sudden chill. Seeing as we were only in the house in the morning and at night, it felt as if we were living in an ice box. As enjoyable as our stops throughout the day were, we almost always left the house in a bitter mood and entered with trepidation, which unfortunately left me with a negatively tainted perception of Sydney. On the other hand, Victoria, which included Melbourne, was home to gorgeous hotels, stunning views, and adorable penguins. Japan was my mother's dream destination, so after a month or two of learning Japanese through Duolingo, we arrived in Kyoto in the summer of 2018. We soon discovered, though, that broken Japanese learned through an iPhone app was almost completely useless in terms of communication. There was, however, a lovely lady we encountered who spoke not a speck of English but understood that we were searching for a temple nearby and led us the entire way there. I will forever be grateful towards her. If there are just 3 things I took away from our trip to Japan, it's that it's extremely clean, offers delicious food, and has a fabulously convenient transportation system. Oh, and that it has a befuddling number of vending machines lining its streets and even hiking trails. I ended up the designated navigator and never let go of the map we bought from a station that detailed all bus, train, and subway routes. As convenient as the transportation system was, we learned the hard way that it mattered which side of the road the bus stop was located. It took one very long detour in the opposite direction of Kyoto's bamboo forest to realize that no, there aren't just 2 stations containing the same bus number for no reason. We didn't stay in Osaka nearly as long as we did Kyoto, so I'm hoping we'll have a chance to go back after the pandemic, with a long stop in Tokyo as well. Starting from the age of 5, my parents have been taking me to China every summer to visit relatives and keep in touch with my roots. Little did I know that summer 2019 would be the last time I went for a very long while. My parents are both from Shanghai, so that's where we always stay. You would be surprised at how modernized the city is. I would call it China's New York City, but better, especially in terms of technology and infrastructure. Let me give you an example. When I went to the mall in Shanghai, we used our phones to pay for everything, ranging from baked goods to meals at restaurants to bags at department stores. Instead of paper menus, we scanned QR codes on the tables and directly ordered from their menus on WeChat. Think WhatsApp, but far superior. In fact, the mall was so technology-centric that paying with cash was nearly impossible because the stores didn't have the ability to accept that form of payment. You would think that's applicable to just that mall, but no. That said, I never fully appreciated those experiences because I was unaware of my privilege. To me, especially when I was younger, our trips to Australia, Japan, and China were ways to escape my summer homework and piano practice, not ways to build my cultural knowledge. I'm regretful of that mindset now, especially because the pandemic has really put things into perspective. We often take for granted the very things that deserve our gratitude, and for me, that's travel. So what I guess I'm trying to say is, appreciate what you have because you never know when it might go away.